want to talk about Sophie and her ideas now. Quite often Sophie and I get an opportunity to talk when we take our dog for a walk. Usually in the afternoon we get our dog and we head on down to the bush tracks. And as we walk along exercising the dog, we have a great conversation. It's a good time to share ideas with each other. And Sophie, who's 14, is full of ideas. She is such an enthusiastic person. She always has something that she wants to share with me. So I've been thinking about children and their ideas. Should we encourage them to follow their ideas? Or do we know better as parents? Because sometimes we might feel some of their ideas are pretty silly. We don't think they're practical. They won't come to anything. Should we tell them? Should we let them find out for themselves? So I always listen to Sophie's ideas. I always encourage her to give something a go, to think it through. I ask her, well, what do you think you'll need to do this? What research will you need to do? Do you have the skills? Perhaps you ought to go out and try it. Because I think that we can put our children off all too easily. We can squash their ideas before our children have had a chance to examine the idea properly. If the idea does come to something, well, that's wonderful. But if it doesn't, they've still learned a lot by investigating it. They've learned a lot about themselves as well. I've read a lot of articles where people say that we shouldn't tell children that they can do anything they want. That's unrealistic, because children can't do anything they want. None of my children are going to be world-class tennis players. They're not going to go to the Olympics. Sophie has already discovered she's not going to be a great artist. I don't really think it's necessary for a parent to point out that a child just does not have the skills to do what they would like to do. They'll find it out for themselves. How many children start off in life wanting to be an astronaut or a fireman? And how many children really want to do that later on? It's good to dream, I think. I've read other articles where people say that kids can't do whatever they want because that might not be what God wants them to do. And I totally agree with this. We have to do what God wills for us. But that doesn't mean we can't follow our dreams, we can't use our talents, because maybe those talents have been given to us for a particular reason, and we're meant to use them. And we have to have courage. We can't hold back and say, well, I'm not going to try because I'm too scared to, or I think it might be a silly idea. I think we've got to go out there, use our talents, and we might do something spectacular, something amazing. Sometimes I have great ideas. Well, I think they're great ideas for a while. And then as I mull them over, I think, oh, well, perhaps that's not such a great idea after all. Perhaps people will think that's a silly idea, and so I hold back and I don't put the idea into action. I don't go any further with it. And I wonder whether I think it's a silly idea because I can hear in my head an echo of someone putting down my ideas. Going through the school system, we're not always encouraged to follow our dreams, our ideas. Maybe someone along the way has said, you've got to be sensible, you've got to earn money, you've got to be practical here. This is a much better idea. That's a silly one. But what if I refused to listen to that voice in my head? What if I tried anyway? What if I didn't worry about what other people thought of my idea? Again, same with our children. Something wonderful could happen. And if it doesn't, if I fail, it doesn't really matter because we all learn, as I said, from everything we do. And maybe I'll come up with a better idea that leads from the first one, modify it slightly.